From Gary Keller Stadium in Westfield, New Jersey, Verizon Fios Sports is proud to present New Jersey High School Boys Lacrosse. Today, it's a showdown between two Group 4 state powers as the Ridgewood Maroons, the defending North Group 4 sectional champs, come calling to take on the Westfield Blue Devils in a top 10 matchup here in the Garden State. Hello, everyone. I'm Dan Long, along with my broadcast partner, Carrie Gluck, and we're so glad that you could join us. And Carrie, we're treated to a matchup here today between two teams that are going to be serious contenders for the Group 4 North Sectional title because both teams have an abundance of experience and talent on the field here today.
Well, they have a great deal of experience playing in big games, and they both have experienced success. Westfield having won the last 3 Union County championships, and Ridgewood on the other side, 5 out of the last 6 Group 4 championships were home at Ridgewood. These are two teams that are ranked in the top 10. These are two teams that are chock full of D1 players, teams that are capable of putting points up on the board, Dan. This is going to be a great matchup and a great possible preview for what may come later on this spring in the Group 4 tournament.
And as you mentioned, Carrie, with the wealth of Division I talent on the field, we're going to be treated to a couple of big-time players, or highlight players. Vincent Riggio, he's the leading scorer for Ridgewood.
Well, Riggio comes into this game with 7 goals, 1 assist, under the radar a little bit last year. Now he's coming into his own this year. He sits out on the wing. He's got a great shot with that right hand. He's been leading Ridgewood offensively. He is the man, I think, that Westfield's going to have to key in on defensively.
And Westfield's player, their star player, is maybe stating a case for player of the year already in New Jersey. Only a junior, but Devin McLane, what a sensation.
What a year he's having so far. 13 goals, 7 assists in 3 games, Dan. 117 career points, and as you said, only a junior. He has a high IQ. He is by far the quarterback of this team. He attacks from X. He's got great vision. He's great in the assists, and he can finish those shots. He will be a test for the Ridgewood defense.
So settle in, fans, for what should be a good one. It's Ridgewood and Westfield next on Verizon Fios Sports.
All it takes is one wrong.
It is our most sincere
Seeding implications down the line in the North Group 4 state playoffs. Let's look at the starting lineup for the Ridgewood Maroons. On attack, Riggio, Joya, and Calvetti. The midfield, Barclay, Peen, and Yates. On defense, Toomey, Yates, and Kennedy, who's bound for Syracuse. And in the cage today for Ridgewood, their starter, Ben Pounds, 3rd year as the varsity starter in goal, coming off a 12-save performance against Don Bosco Prep their last time out. And he plays for his father, Mike Pounds, legendary head coach of Ridgewood in his 16th season. He's won 5 out of the last 6 sectional titles here for the Maroons. And for the Westfield Blue Devils, their starting lineup, the dangerous Devin McLane, Riddendale, and Engelke on attack. Bond, Devin, and Warnow dangerous in the midfield. In the close defense, McElroy, Hunsicker, and Minio. In cage, the starter for Westfield, Jack McCauley. 2nd year as the starter in goal, 14 saves this season. And he's also a 2-sport star, a football player who's bound to play in the Patriot League for Holy Cross. And he plays for Patrick Toohey, Westfield head coach in his 6th season in charge of the Blue Devil program, a 2000 graduate of Westfield, who led the team to a 2014 Group 4 state title. Now, Carrie, it's time to look at your Verizon Fios Sports keys to the game.
Well, Ridgewood's offense is going to depend upon how well they do in the transition game, and if they can put some points up on the board off of the transition and contain Devin McLane, perhaps one of the best, if not the best, offensive player in New Jersey. And Westfield, they've got to limit their turnovers and finish the opportunities against a very good goalkeeper for Ridgewood, as you said, Ben Pounds.
Getting ready for this top 10 showdown in New Jersey between Ridgewood and Westfield. Ridgewood coming off a loss in their last game against Don Bosco Prep on the road. Westfield, after opening up the season losing to top-ranked Del Barden, they've won 2 in a row. Both teams 2-1. Ridgewood in the road maroon, Westfield in their home white. Hogan will face off against Tanner Devon. And we are underway, the face-off X. Hogan winning it out to space, but still not secured, as a loose ball is on the deck. Finally, scoop up and a ground ball pickup by Jack Barkley. And Ridgewood will have the first offensive possession of the day. The officials today, Wilson, Asico, and Kratz Jr. After that face-off won by Hogan, James Hogan, the junior, who's bound for Ohio State in the future. It's the first time that we see this Maroon offense at work, averaging 8 goals a contest for their first 3 games of the season.
Dan, I think one of the areas of the game it's going to come down to is in that face-off X to see what Hogan and is able to do against Devon at that face-off.
First shot opportunity by Dan Joya. His stick was lifted by Patrick McElroy, the leader of this defense for Westfield, number 10 in white. Is now defending on the ball. He's bound for Denver. And Coach Bill Tierney.
McElroy does such a good job defensively because he plays excellent positional defense, Dan, and he is always in the right spot at the right time defensively. Good feet, moves well.
Here's McElroy again. Now the ball goes over to your highlight player for Ridgewood briefly, number 35, Vincent Riggio, leading the team with 7 goals, 8 total points on the season. A patient offensive possession for Coach Pounds' side. Barkley scooping this one up. It's one of the stars in the midfield for the Maroons. He draws the pole. Griffin Aslanian, rave reviews for his play from his coach Pat Toohey before today's contest. Gavin Peen harassed by the short stick defender Colin Freer. We'll see Freer and also Aslanian trade the long pole and the short stick, playing defense here today for Westfield. Athletes all over the field for the Blue Devils.
And that'll really come down to the matchups as who is on the field for Ridgewood to determine who's got the shorty and who's got the pole.
Peen trying to attack against the short stick defensive midi. Drives down the right side, takes the bounce shot, just going wide of McCauley in net. Long sustained possession to open up this game for Ridgewood, as they are already, Gary, starting off the season 4 consecutive road games for the Maroons.
Well, if they can come away with road wins, that really helps the team's confidence, especially at home.
There's Peen on the high crease, but whistling that one wide. Backed up, though, by the Maroons.
Peen at that crease area looks to take that shot low to low. He dropped the head of the stick, comes underhand with it, trying to sneak it by McCauley.
Peen was looking for his 6th goal of the season already for Ridgewood. Over to the near side to Riggio. Dodge on the wing side. Dan Joya, the senior. Now behind the cage to Paul Calvetti. Had 2 goals and an assist against Hunterdon Central, a game that Ridgewood won in overtime. Over 3 minutes with the possession carry for Ridgewood, making this Westfield defense work.
This is a very long possession, and for Ridgewood, I think they are very content with being patient and working the ball and moving the defenders.
They struggled to score goals against Don Bosco Prep in their last contest, scoring for the first time in the 3rd quarter, being shut out in the first half. Ball's loose in the head of the crease. Ball was squirted free as McCauley was trying to rake it back into his crease, and it goes out to space, and Barkley will scoop it up. Barkley had a big game when these two teams met last season. 4 goals for the senior midi bound for Lehigh. Barkley has it again. He'll be watched by Matthew Minio, number 13.
Jack Barkley really has some nice size, Dan. I like him as a midfielder as they look and they take Barkley off and exchange the midfield, putting in Eugene Chu for Barkley.
Barkley got that initial ground ball on the face-off as he started off on the wing. They got Ridgewood this initial possession of the game, and they're still working on it. They've had a couple of shots missed. We'll have to wonder if a stall warning is going to be upcoming, as, Gary, they haven't taken a shot on cage on McCauley in a while.
Well, they've looked to feed into the crease, if you remember, where they were able to come up with the ground ball, and then they had the loose off the shot by Peen that went wide. So I don't think you're going to see the stall, not at this particular point so early, but they are moving the ball. They're being very, very patient. How patient will the refs allow them to be will be another story.
Dodge from behind, and as soon as we say that, the stall warning is on. So they have to keep it inside the box. It's over to Peen now. Midi is inverted behind the cage. Calvetti. Now driving down the far alleyway. Going behind the cage again is Joya.
What a long possession for Ridgewood. The Maroons showing a lot of patience.
Joya gets past his defender, feeds the crease, and again, Chu not electing to unleash the shot.
Well, the pass was on Chu's left side, so he was getting away from the goal on the pass. If that pass was on the stick side, I think Chu might have been able to have a shot.
Coming up on almost half of the first quarter, all being played in this opening possession on offense in the Ridgewood end. How tired does that make a defense? And really, it's testing their fortitude inside to follow up on all the picks that the Maroons are setting.
Well, it will challenge them down the road in the third and fourth quarter. Right now, I don't think it's an issue, but down the road, it'll start to take its toll on the defense. And the question is, will they lose their patience defensively and look to lunge and look to try and gamble defensively?
Already 4 shots for Ridgewood, but all of them missing the net, and now a violation as the ball will go over to Westfield as they stepped out of the box with the stall warning still on. Now a quick movement the other way, shoots and scores! As it took 6 minutes for Ridgewood to have on offense, takes only a couple seconds for McLane to connect on his first goal.
Well, that was 1, 2, 3. You give Westfield the opportunity offensively, and they move the ball quick, and look where McLane is up top. And he finishes that one low to low. He drops the head of his stick off that midfield area, and he puts him right up on the board. And it must have taken them about 10 seconds or less to get the ball from the defensive third of the field and get it into McLane's stick and finish it off after a long possession by Westfield.
After that quick restart, it was Warnow with the credited assist on the goal by Devin McLane, his 14th of the season. Westfield races out to a 1-0 lead back to the face-off X. Holding call on the face-off against Tanner Devin. So Hogan and Ridgewood will once again win a face-off and garner possession on offense.
And now that we have seen how quick Westfield can score, the question is now, will the Maroons of Ridgewood look to hold and be as patient as they were, or are they going to be a little bit more anxious to go to goal and get that tying goal back?
They had the opportunities, Gary, on that possession, just the accuracy wasn't there. They had the 4 shots, but not forcing McCauley to make a save.
And some of the passes didn't help off of the passes inside. They were on the wrong side of the stick, and they didn't allow for the better shot to be taken.
As Ridgewood works it around to X, Joya again over now to the near side. Finding Jimmy Probert as the second midfield unit is on the field for Coach Mike Pounds. Ridgewood trailing 1-0. They held possession for close to 6 minutes here in the first quarter. Then after a violation stepping out of the box after a stall warning was on for them, a quick fast break goal for McLane and Westfield the other way give the Blue Devils an early advantage. Trail check, but the shot still got it off by Probert, but just high of the cage, backed up on the far side by Riggio.
And look at Nick Bond, and there he checks that stick, and that's what really causes that shot to go high over the cage. I think he was looking to take a bounce shot. Bond's back check created the shot to go high.
Over the far side, it's Eamon Mulholland, number 5 at it. Now behind to the attack. Quick feed up top, off of Mulholland's stick. Bond with the ground ball pickup. Tries to bring numbers the other way. Ridgewood getting back in time. Here's McLane, who had the only goal of the game so far in the fast break, as he was playing the point position on the fast break opportunity. McLane, only a junior, but already committed to Brown University.
He is having such a good year so far. Needless to say, as we said in the open, he's got 20 points, 13 goals, 7 assists in only 3 games. That's averaging 5 points a game, or 7 points a game.
Against really quality competition, as he continues here today against Ridgewood, a top 10 opponent. Jacob Warnow, who's bound for Yale, one of 3 players in the starting lineup who are going to be playing in the Ivy League. Nick Bonds will be playing at Princeton. And here's McLane and Westfield setting it up patiently around the perimeter. Bonds over to Warnow. Warnow will draw the pole in the assignment of long stick mini Joe Ram. Warnow's been explosive this season. 8 goals, Now 2 assists after getting credit with the assist for McLane's goal here in the first quarter. As we're coming up on 3 minutes left to go. A beautiful day for lacrosse. A surprise here in the spring in New Jersey. Split dodge by Bonds and trying to connect with his teammate. Prabilski.
Off the double, he looks to the backside to see if he can find Prabilski.
Now a short stick defender, Chu, watching Bond. Bond alley dodge, takes the shot and scores. Mismatch there with the short stick defender covering Bond. He connects with his 6th goal of the season, and Westfield doubles their lead to 2-0.
Well, Bond is a smart player. He was an all-Group 4 player last year, and he shows his high IQ. He sees he's got the shorty on him. He drives down the alley with the left hand, and he takes out with that shot with the left, and he does a nice job bouncing the shot and putting it right past Ben Pounds. Keep in mind that Nick Bonds had, coming into today, over 100 career points. He had 79 goals with 22 assists. Now make that 80 with 102 career points.
And he also made the defensive play on the other end of the field, lifting the stick on Probert's shot. So a two-way midi, a throwback player of sorts. Go to another face-off, and Hogan will scoop up and secure a 3rd face-off win for Ridgewood and drive towards the cage. He'll take the shot, forcing McCauley to make the save. Still loose out in front, and a score! Dan Joya, a high crease, finds Paterd and Ridgewood on the board on the unsettled play.
Well, give credit to McCauley. He comes off the initial save as that shot was off the... Watch the shot. There's the initial save. Stick low inside, but the ball being picked up by Maroon, and there you see the shot by Dan Joya right in the crease area, and very smartly puts it to the off-stick side of McCauley. McCauley being the left-handed goalie.
3rd goal of the season for Dan Joya off the assist from Jack Barkley, who got that big ground ball secured. Now it's going to be a face-off one ahead by Tanner Devon.
First one won by Westfield coming off the face-off X.
But quickly it's going to be a turnover forced from behind by Ram and Ridgewood. But he gets his stick lifted as he's trying to connect with a teammate Kennedy in the far sideline. Rolls out of bounds. It'll be an offensive possession for Westfield.
And guess who's responsible for the errant pass? There he is, number 9 in your picture, McLane. He was the guy who was riding hard, created that turnover.
That's what makes him so special. Not only just a potent scorer and the IQ, but as talking with Coach Toohey before the game, says like another coach on the field as he tries to sneak that one around inside. But Pounds not having it as it goes to the outside of the net.
McLane attacks from X, looks to do the little roll dodge, take it with the low right hand. Again, dropping the stick, going low off the shot.
Ben Pounds setting up the clear. He's bound for Rutgers University next season. Gets it to his teammate, Aiden Toomey. Toomey looking for an outlet. Toomey will be playing for Colgate. Getting harassed. And a whistle as Westfield was riding hard, but a timeout called behind the play by Coach Mike Pounds of Ridgewood to keep possession for his team as it looked like a turnover was going to be imminent.
Well, that was a great timeout called for by Coach Pounds because he saw that defensive player, Toomey, was under pressure with a stick defending him, and he was on the sideline, had very little place to go, and it was a good timeout to keep that possession, the possession being so important right now for the Maroons.
As Coach Toohey talks to his team in his huddle, 2-1 start to the season, scoring 10.3 goals per game, only allowing just a shade over 7. And in their last time out, they defeated Rumson Fairhaven 12-3 on April 4th. Their lone loss carried coming against Delbarton, but really a performance that echoed throughout the state. And this is a program on the rise. The last 3 seasons, 10-7, reaching the sectional semifinals, 11-9, 17-4, and in 2014, they won it all in Group 4, the state championship, going to the Tournament of Champions. This is a program that many believe has what it takes to maybe get back to the TOC this year.
Well, certainly they have, as we said in the open, they have experienced success. Their players know what it's like to play on the big stage. They've won it all back in 2014. They had a great year, and I think Coach Toomey is very confident that his team can really do that and repeat once again with a successful season this year, and especially at the defensive end of the field where he feels his defense is just so strong.
And they've dominated here in Union County, winning the last 3 consecutive tournament championships in Union County, defeating Summit last year in a game seen here on Verizon Fios Sport. As you can see, Summit also being the dominant figure in the years prior to that current run by the Blue Devils. In the last 3 seasons also in the state tournament, Westfield has had one bugaboo, and that's been Bridgewater Raritan, a state power that Ridgewood then defeated for the first time last season before eventually falling to Montgomery in the Group 4 state final. After the timeout, it's going to be an offensive possession here for Ridgewood, trailing 2-1, the tail end of this first quarter of play. Ridgewood out shooting Westfield 7-3, but only getting a couple on cage, though.
And I think you also have to take a look. The possession has been for Ridgewood certainly more than 2-1.
As the first midfield line is back out there for Coach Pounds after the timeout. Here's Peen drawing the quick double team. Looking for a teammate coming goal line extended. It's Riggio, tipped off the top of his stick. Ground ball picked up by McElroy, and he'll look to trigger the clear.
Well, Riggio was 1 against 3 defenders looking to get that ground ball. That was not going to happen.
That high pass dooms his ability to attack to the cage, but a turnover forced by Ridgewood. Unsettled situation. Riggio takes the shot. McCauley with a save.
Big save by McCauley. Jack comes up big on that one. Again, the shot on the stick side and low. And that was the key why that shot didn't go. But give an opportunity for the Maroons. That one they should have finished on, Dan.
No rebounds given up by McCauley, making the save, and nearly a turnover after Westfield was hitting their teammate with a pass. A check administered, another takeaway by Ridgewood. And McLane trying a ferocious ride game back as the time will expire in the first quarter of play. And it's a 2-1 advantage for Westfield here at home. After it's been the majority of the play has been in the other end for Ridgewood. Quick strike ability for McLane and company. The Blue Devils on top 2-1 on Verizon Fios Sports.
Have you made the time funeral and any other
Quarter here in Westfield, where the Blue Devils lead Ridgewood by a score of 2-1. Carry that first quarter dominated possession-wise by Coach Mike Pounds' Ridgewood Maroons, but they were only able to produce 1 goal there. But it's going to be a back-and-forth contrast of styles here today.
Well, certainly, I think you also have to give credit to the Westfield defense. They really maintained their poise under a very long possession by the Maroons early on.
Face-off won by Ridgewood with the ground ball pickup by Ram, and a flag is thrown. It's going to be an upcoming penalty against Westfield, the first penalty of the day for either side. That time it rings off the pipe as the crossbar rattles off the sidearm shot. But again, that's going to stop play, and it's going to be the first man-up opportunity for Ridgewood this afternoon.
Well, Joya takes that shot. He's out of the lane to the cage, and he goes low to high, and as you said, it just pings off that crossbar. But a good opportunity because he was wide open. He had an open lane to the net.
Joya has the lone Ridgewood goal this afternoon, and now McCauley and company, the man-down defense, going to be facing the Maroons here, going to be looking for the equalizer, the beginning stages of this second quarter of play. Joya up top to Barkley. Barkley, who had 4 goals in this contest last season, as these two teams met in April in Ridgewood. A 13-9 win for Ridgewood that day. Barkley over to the near side. Calvetti. Joya now behind the cage. He'll be joined by Peen. Quick ball movement for the Maroons, trying to get this Westfield defense on the move. Barkley back up top. Here's the shot in a low, hard bouncer, just missing the cage by Riggio. And a backup called for Westfield.
Good hustle by the Westfield defense. But I think, Dan, it's been a 5-on-5. There were double penalties, I believe, called on that last flag.
As Westfield looks to clear the ball now, after surviving that opportunity for Ridgewood on the offensive threat. But an errant clearing attempt leads to a ground ball pickup and numbers the other way for Ridgewood. Riggio just missed that shot opportunity a moment ago. His pass knocked down, taken in by Hunsaker.
Good ride by Westfield, defensive play rather by Westfield.
And credit on that last shot opportunity on offense where Riggio uncorked that sidearm shot. It was McCauley, the big goalie, racing to the end line to beat the attack down for possession.
You know, you got to wonder, because he is such a big guy, how quick is he out of the cage? And he showed that he's got that kind of mobility and that kind of speed, Dan, to be able to get out of the cage and win the possession back for the defense.
Warnow was trying to catch Pounds out of the net, fired a shot down, and his shot went wide. There was backup for Westfield, but Coach Coach Toohey trying to settle his team down. We'll have to wonder why Ben Pounce was so far out of the cage. Now a sustained offensive possession here in the second quarter for Westfield, still enjoying a 2-1 advantage. These two teams could be on a collision course down the line in May in the Group 4 North section. Now behind the cage. Blue Devils attacking from there. Good poke check though, freeing the ball from Engelke.
And that was Kennedy, did a nice job defensively. No wonder that young man heading to Syracuse next year. He plays very good defense. Gets a stick right on the stick, makes it tough for you.
Now it's down to Riggio in transition. Jimmy Probert, as the second midfield tries to slow things down. It's definitely been a story of defenses for these two high-scoring teams in this first half of play, Kerry.
It certainly has, because these are teams that are capable of putting up points up on the board. As we said, Westfield can be double digits, averaging double digits over the course of these first 3 games.
Now at X, it's Joya. Watch closely, going up top side, rolls back. Popped free and nearly a turnover forced again. Riggio does lose it on the end line, and it's going to be a clearing opportunity upcoming for Westfield. Good job by the defense, and again, Matt Minio doing a good job checking the stick of Riggio, creating that little turnover. But, the defense from Westfield has really played solid so far. Here's McCauley with the outlet pass. Brabilski finds his teammate. Nice and then clear. Another shot in the empty net, as Ridgewood has been taking their goalie out of the cage the last couple of times. They've been looking to 10-man ride is what Ridgewood has been looking to do, and they're taking Pounds out of the cage, putting him on an attackman. Very dangerous, as Bond was just inches away from the empty net. Now that shot rings off the crossbar. And Karam's out to the far sideline. Possession saved by Westfield with a hustle. And here is the heavy ride, but the open net because of the 10-man ride. See where Pounds is? He is way upfield looking to ride on one of the attack. And that was James Yates who got a piece of that stop. And then that time it rang off the crossbar, but they're going to say that rang inside the net for a goal. Devin McLane will get credit with the goal, and that hit inside the crossbar and also the top corner of the pipe. And Karam's out, and that's where they said immediately the Westfield sideline was celebrating. That was a goal. Now, watch how hard McLane can shoot that ball. You saw the net rattle, but yet it still came off the pipe and way out. Here it is again. Take a look. The right-handed shot, and you see it hit the inside of the net, but it came right back out. And give credit to McLane. What a hard right-handed shot. 15th goal this season. Number 2 today for Devin. Matt Riddendale, number 8, gets credited with the assist as Westfield scores their 3rd goal of the contest. You could see also the distance on that shot, using almost the defender who was racing out at him as a screen in front of his own goalie, Pounds. But even without the defender there, I don't know that Pounds would have been able to react quick enough to be able to defend against that shot. Maslanian with the ground ball pickup wins the faceoff for Westfield, and a timeout called by the Blue Devils. And Coach Toohey will talk things over with his team leading 3-1 with 7:59 remaining here in the first half of action. Once again, let's take a look at how close that goal was for McLane. Look at the space McLane has when he winds up for that shot. He has enough room to be able to step down, wind up, take that shot. The defender can't get out quick enough to be able to defend and check that stick. Now, I know that there's always the accuracy games that lacrosse players like to play in practice where it's a game called pipes and you're trying to hit all the pipes to win and not have to do the sprints. Well, you definitely want Devin McLane on your side because that pinpoint accuracy is shocking there. And you can see why he already has 15 goals, Gary, on the season. And that's now this being the 4th game, so he's averaging close to 4 goals a game. Now, if I'm Ridgewood, I'm going to think about playing him really tight and almost trying to take him out of the game. Let's see if someone else on that team from Westfield can score. So would you almost try to do a 5-on-5 setting where try to face guard him and get him out of the 6-on-6 set? Yep. Clearly, he is the guy who's the go-to, and he's clearly the scorer. I would think about trying to face guard, maybe like a box-and-1 in basketball, see if we can take him out, and see if we can let the perimeter or other
players on that midfield area especially put some points up on the board.
We'll see if Coach Pounds will make an adjustment here after this timeout. It will be possession for Westfield, as McCauley has been sharp down on the other side. And now Jacob Warnow will operate with possession of the ball. Nick Bond setting up the dodge in the far wing. Gets top side. Babilski unleashes the shot, hits a man in front, hit his own teammate, who was playing high in the crease. Now the ground ball picked up by Ridgewood as they set up the clear the other way.
And I'll tell you also, Dan, they missed McLane coming around the cage. He was wide open as he was making his move to come around the cage.
Ridgewood trying to operate in an unsettled situation, but Westfield's defense gets back in time. They'll set up shop here. We're coming up on just over 7 minutes remaining in this first half of play. Westfield leading Ridgewood 3-1. Dan Long, Kerry Glug, glad that you could join us for this top 10 showdown here in the Garden State on Verizon Fios One Sports. Feed on the crease. McCauley standing tall with a save.
McCauley has come up big right now in this first half. His third save, and that was also a big one. He's having a very good game so far, is Jack McCauley. And he's a big dude and standing in that cage.
He robbed number 5, Eamon Mulholland, the senior, was looking for his third goal of the season. 3 saves for McCauley, 1 for Pounds on the other end. Still only a 3-1 advantage for Westfield.
Westfield has been very efficient on their shooting, Dan. Very efficient.
Ball back in the cross of Devin McLane. Can't miss him with those fluorescent orange cleats as well.
When you wear those kind of cleats, you better be good. That's all I got to say.
Warnow taking it down with the dodge down the far side. McLane is open in the near side. Just missed him, though, was Riddendale.
Yeah, they're giving McLane too much room. They got to close him down. He's quick. He's got a quick release.
Luke Simpson trying to harass and cause a turnover from behind on Riddendale as he's checked into the game. Here's the ISO dodge from behind by McLane.
Look how he assesses the field. He has great vision. He looks and sees where everybody is on the field before he makes his move.
In their loss last year against Ridgewood, McLane had no goals but 6 assists on the afternoon. Here's Bond trying to feed a teammate, cutting on the crease was Engelke, but just could not corral the pass enough. Kennedy will look to clear. Kennedy, the senior long pole, like you mentioned, Kerry, bound for Syracuse University, makes the defensive play for Ridgewood and gets it back to his offense. So we're coming up on 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. 3-1 Westfield. Joya with the ball. He has the lone Ridgewood goal here today. And Westfield is a team, Kerry, that plays 2 goalies for every game. So we're expecting to see Theo Dardia in the second half. So even though McCauley is having a very good first half of play, we might see a goalie change regardless of the score at halftime.
I find that very tough as a coach when you know you've had a goalie who's played real well through the first half of play, to take him out and put in somebody who's been standing on the sideline into the second half, especially in a close game.
Here's Ridgewood operating again with their first midfield unit. Barkley. Back to Peen with a little space up top. Watched by a long pole defender in Puglisi. Shuts him off, and there's the mismatch if Ridgewood wants it with the short stick. A shot on the run, and that time deflected off the back of number 13, Matt Minio. A race out close to the Ridgewood sideline, and the hustle play won by Westfield. Tremendous hustle by Colin Freer.
Good work. You got to give a lot of credit to Colin Freer. That's what you need out of your defensive midfielders. You need that kind of work. That's a blue-collar kind of effort on the part of Colin Freer, diving to the sideline, trying to win back that possession.
And that's the second hustle play won by Westfield on defense. If you remember, McCauley also outraced a couple of offensive players for Ridgewood to gain possession on the end line. It's going to be a turnover, a violation offsides against Westfield, giving the ball right back to Ridgewood.
That's the mental mistake that drives coaches mad when you go off sides, because that's just mental. It's not a physical.
Peen getting it down to Calvetti, who was on a knee and still maintained his cradle. Chu now gets it over to Peen as Chu is checked onto the field. A defensive midi that stays on and is part of the second midfield line for Coach Mike Pounds. Behind the cage to Will Mollahan. Trying to feed the cutter inside and off the stick of Brooks Yates. And Westfield in transition the other way. Give and go. Warnow. Another pass. Shoots and scores. Unselfish and pretty passing. Leads to the goal by Matt Riddendale. Westfield leads 4-1.
That was just a beautiful transition, fast break goal for the Blue Devils. They came down, they showed great stick work, they showed unselfish play. It's a tic-tac-toe, cross that field and find the low man wide open with the left-handed shot on the wing area. That was Rittendale. Matt Rittendale getting his 4th goal of the season off the fast break. What a beautiful goal by the Blue Devils.
Warnow getting credit with the assist. Rittendale, as you see there, 4th goal of the season for the senior. Had an assist against Rumson Fairhaven. Ridgewood with the advantage at the face-off X, as you see there, 4-2. But movement early against Hogan will give Westfield their 3rd win at the face-off X here this afternoon. And now a dangerous situation for Coach Pounds and Ridgewood with just over 2.5 minutes left to go in the first half. 4-1 lead for Westfield, and the Blue Devils setting up camp yet again on offense. Aiden Toomey now going to be guarding number 9, Devin McLane. Bond with it. Prabilski setting the pick in front of him. Only a freshman is Prabilski on this dangerous first midfield line. Warnow takes the shot and scores! Off the feed from Bond. 5-1 lead now for Westfield as the Blue Devils are flexing.
What a nice look by Nick Bond to find Warnow cutting across from the wing area. See, there's the double, so it opens up the middle of the field, and Warnow, very smart. There's the double, opens up Warnow coming across the face of the cage and able to finish off that shot beautifully. Jacob Warnow now getting his 9th goal of the season. He, too, has a great career, having now scored 61 goals on his career with 20 assists. And now 21 assists coming into today.
He has 1 goal and 2 assists already in this first half, does Warnow. He scores the 5th goal of the half for Westfield. And leaving the box early is going to be Westfield, so possession is going to be going over to Ridgewood. Dangerous situation for the Maroons. Under 2 minutes left to go in the first half. It's been all Westfield here in the second quarter. And Carey, is this a must-score opportunity for Ridgewood just to get that groove back on offense?
Well, I think just to stem the momentum right now, going with the Blue Devils, Westfield has been really dominating this second quarter. Take away that momentum. If they can put something up on the board before the end of the half.
Here's a shot and a save made by McCauley, but the rebound comes out in space. Ground ball, big one, picked up by Ridgewood. They'll reset the offense. That shot was from Riggio. He's trying to get something going here offensively for Ridgewood, but McCauley has been seeing it all afternoon long. Barkley. Goya, now Riggio. Riggio watched by Minio.
Good skip pass as they're in the 1-4 offense to get it up top.
Trying to overload inside in the crease. It's where Peen is, as well as Calvetti.
See, I would like to see Barkley step down a little bit. He's out real far, so if they do skip pass, he's way outside. He's got to get down a little lower so when he gets that skip pass, he can get off that shot.
The switch, the great switching defense here for Westfield. They've been putting on a defensive clinic as we're coming up on 30 seconds remaining here in the first half. A drive in the near side cage, and getting a piece of that was McCauley.
He takes up so much of that net, and yet he uses his body so well. to defend against shots.
Bond just trying to push it forward into his offensive ends, and Westfield eventually gets the ground ball, and a timeout awarded to Coach Patrick Toohey. And another hustle play won by Westfield, as it looked like it was just a massive maroon, but someone in white comes out with it, calls the timeout, saves possession with 12 seconds left and one final opportunity to extend their lead going into halftime.
Yeah, but where did Rittendale's shot end up? Watch it. It'll end up right in the back of the net. I think he'd like to have that timeout called back.
Was trying to swing with it, and then Riddendale scoops it up with one hand and eventually went down the other way, but coming off and negated as his coach calls the timeout from the far side. 12 seconds left to go in the first half of play. Westfield's in control here 5-1 as you see Coach Patrick Toohey in the red hat settling down his sideline. He has to be thrilled at how his team has been playing, not only in this game but also in the beginning of the season.
Absolutely. The fact that they were able to go with Del Barton losing only by 2, a score of 11-9 to the #1 team in the state of New Jersey right now, I think he's got to be real happy early on, taking into consideration the difficulty with the weather and being able to have the ability to get outside and practice under such horrible conditions. He's got to be thrilled with the way his team has been performing up to this point.
His senior goalie, Jack McCauley, 5 saves in the first half, has only allowed 1 goal for this Ridgewood offense coming into today's game, averaging 8 goals a game. And Westfield, a team that's scoring just over 10 goals a contest, well on their way here with 5, and still with more damage to possibly be done here in the final seconds of the quarter.
And this young man, Jack McCauley, going to Holy Cross for football, he's a big guy, but he certainly could consider playing lacrosse up there.
Nick Bond will start with a ball on the far side. He'll dodge from up top, take the lefty, and score! The play works to perfection for Coach Toohey and company. Nick Bond, the future Princeton Tiger, extends the Westfield lead to 6-1.
No wonder he was all Group 4 last year. He shows his speed, he shows his stick work, and a hard left-handed shot. He has the pole on him, but he's still able to take advantage. High to low, he's able to put that one behind Ben Pounds.
Nick Bond, 2 goals, 1 assist here in the first half of play. Beating the clock at play only took 7 seconds. 7th goal of the season for Bond. Nick Bond had to get that in, of course. We'll go to the face-off X here, and Westfield's, what a dream first half for them. 6-1 lead over Ridgewood with 5 seconds remaining. Aslani in the pole will take the face-off against Hogan. Hogan will win it himself. Will not be able to uncork a shot in time. And that will signal an end to the first half of play. From a windy Gary Keller Stadium here in Westfield, New Jersey, it's been all Blue Devils. McCauley making the defensive plays on one end of the field, and then McLane and company doing it on offense as one of the top teams in New Jersey flexing its muscles. 6-1 lead at halftime on Verizon Fios Sports.
Caregivers are praising the Regency
Comprehensive Cancer Center. You'll feel surrounded by comforting and
lead Ridgewood by a score of 6-1 in an exciting first half of play, Kerry.
Well, so far, Dan, it has been all Westfield as they started off after a very long possession by Ridgewood, coming down with McLane. Devin getting them on the board, and look at Nick Bond drives the alley with that left hand and takes a great shot with the left hand and gives them that 2-1 lead early on. And here's the one lone goal by Joya as he had the opening up at the high crease area to be able to finish that one off. And after that, second quarter, it has been really just all the Blue Devils from Westfield. What a shot by Devin McLane with the hard right hand. And Warnow will get into your picture with a nice look as he gets a feed from Bond. And Nick Bond ends the half scoring with a beautiful sweep to the left, using his strong hand to beat the pole. And the shots, they're pretty even, but the statistics point out that the possession has been with Ridgewood, winning ground balls, winning faceoffs, and they're only trailing by 1 shot against Westfield. It's really a different kind of game statistics than what we've seen on the field.
So stick around for the start of the second half of play as Coach Toohey's side tries to win their 3rd game in a row on Verizon Fios Sports.
Why wait for vacation when down-to-earth living
car only at Acme. 2.5
top of Ridgewood by a score of 6-1. The offense has been potent, especially in that second quarter. The defense has been outstanding as well for the Blue Devils. And let's revisit, Gary, your Verizon Fios One Sports keys to the game.
Well, we thought they had a score in transition. They have not done any scoring in transition, quite honestly. They've had chances, but they haven't done it. And they have not contained Devin McLane. He's got his 2 goals. He's had beautiful goals. Westfield, they have limited turnovers, and they have finished their opportunities unquestionably.
As we get to the face-off X to begin the third quarter, face-offs have been in Ridgewood's favor. They have not been able to push it in transition. Westfield has been able to get back in time. Tanner Devin for Westfield. And James Hogan wins the face-off clean the other way in transition for Ridgewood. And Joya's pass eaten up, knocked down in front of the Westfield sideline. They're going to say that it went off of Westfield last. That's the correct call, as it was a great defensive play by Mineo. Possession will stay with Ridgewood to begin the second half of play.
Well, Ridgewood had the fast break. They were set up in their fast break offense, and only Mineo's hustle to get up top to deflect that pass prevented that goal.
Kerry, you have a whole second half of your Ridgewood. You don't get away from what maybe he has gotten you here as a program, but do you have to change things a bit offensively to be a little more proactive in your shot selection?
Absolutely. I think right now they have to be much more aggressive going to the cage. I don't think they can be so passive and be so content with using the clock and just keeping the ball on the perimeter.
Colin Freer guarding Peen as the short stick defensive midfielder. Now Calvetti. Jump shot scores! Just what Ridgewood needed. A quick goal to start the second half, courtesy of number 36, Paul Calvetti.
Well, that's a good start for the Maroons. Ridgewood getting on the board in short order. And watch this nice little roll dodge. Comes off with the left hand, gets it up high to low, and gets it past McCauley. Not much has gotten past the big guy in the net, but this one gets by as they put it down low on him and force him to go to his knees.
And McCauley starting this second half in goal for Westfield's Paul Calvetti. His 3rd goal of the season, had 2 goals and an assist in their overtime win against Hunterdon Central this season. This was all triggered off of that fast break on a face-off win by Hogan. And once again, Hogan pops it ahead to himself, gets the ground ball, gets Ridgewood the possession yet again, trying to build on that first goal since early in the first quarter. 8-3 face-off advantage for the Maroons of Ridgewood. As Hogan is going to be a future Ohio State Buckeye, a team that lost in the national championship game last season. Only a junior for Coach Mike Pounds. Riggio gets it behind the cage at X to Joya. Joya watched closely by McElroy. One of the best long poles in all of New Jersey. Inside roll dodge going into the crease. And there's going to be a flag thrown, and it looks like it might be a push with possession upcoming against Westfield.
Well, that'll be the second penalty called against the Blue Devils from Westfield so far in this game. The Maroons of Ridgewood not able to score. Now watch the inside roll move. And the flag you see going right up after the inside roll.
So in tight, defense trying to bail out, and not necessarily the worst thing if you're Coach Chewy and seeing that to prevent that in tight goal.
But I think, Westfield played it pretty well, not only just taking that foul, but also coming across the face of the goal. The slide came very well.
Patrick McElroy will serve time in the penalty box. Man-up opportunity, the second of the day for Ridgewood. They're 0 for 1 this afternoon.
Well, if you want a guy off the field for on the defense of Westfield, McElroy's the guy you want off the field because he's such a big, good, strong defensive player.
He'll be playing in the Big East next season at the University of Denver.
That sounds like an anomaly. Denver in the East.
And there's a shot and a score by Barkley up top. Momentum starting to shift as Ridgewood answers with 2 quick goals to start the third quarter.
Coming off the extra man, that's what they had to do. They didn't score earlier on. This one they took advantage. And look at the opening, step down. Defender can't get across quick enough to be able on the slide, to be able to check the gloves and be able to deflect that shot, and you give enough room to Barkley. Jack is a big player. He's had a great shot. He was an all Group 4 player last year. You know he's going to finish off an opportunity like that.
Calvetti At the assist, and Theo Dardia is now checked into the game right after that man-up goal. Second-year varsity goalie for Westfield. A junior has checked in, normally plays the second half of games for the Blue Devils, but McCauley had started off this second half. Now holding call against Westfield, another possession for Ridgewood.
Well, they've won the first 3 of the face-offs so far this half, and they've capitalized and scored on the first 2 possessions. Can they score on this one and get themselves right back in this game? But you know what, Dan? You know what? So far, they've been more aggressive. They've been going to the cage. In the first half, they started off much too passive for me, and too long a possession. That's not their style, and I think it took the kids and took the players out of their success as what's gotten them here.
Held to only 1 goal in the first 2 quarters of play. They've erupted for 2 in the early stages of this third quarter, and now make it 3. Another score. This time it's going to be Jimmy Probert with a goal for Ridgewood. We have ourselves a brand new lacrosse game. 6-4 the lead for Westfield, 3 unanswered for Ridgewood in the start of the second half.
And they're taking their shots, and there you see Probert. Watch him come down off the face-off. Little roll dodge, takes it here, looks to fake the pass, to hold that defender, to give him that little bit of space to be able to take the shot.
Second goal of the season for number 31, Jimmy Probert. That was the first shot that Dardia had to face. And Ridgewood certainly feeling more confident now and erupting for 3 goals, as we're not even 3 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. 3 goals in 1 minute and 51 seconds.
And it all starts right there at the face-off X, Dan. Coming up with the possession, coming down and getting into your offense.
Yet again, the face-off bug biting Westfield. Barkley tried the swim dodge, swimming over 2 defenders, but losing the ball in the process. Turnover forced and caused by Westfield as they look to clear.
Hunziger does a nice job. Now it'll be real important for Westfield. They're coming down now. They need to take away some of the momentum, and look what happens. They throw the ball away, a turnover.
Aaron clear from the goalie. Dardia was trying to connect at midfield, and Ridgewood was waiting for it. Possession right back to the Maroons. Scoring 3 goals here in the third quarter after trailing 6-1 at halftime.
Going 14 minutes plus without scoring a goal, then they score 3 in just about 3 minutes.
Coach Pounds making the necessary adjustments. That's why he's an outstanding coach for Ridgewood in this program that is always contending for state championships year in and year out. Feed on the crease, cutting through, and the bounce goes Ridgewood's way into the stick of Barkley.
This is what makes lacrosse such a great game, that you know you can score in bunches and you can score quick.
Here's a shot whistling wide of the cage, and Dardia out of the stick of Gavin Peen, number 16. And if you have a dominant face-off man, which is what Hogan has been doing for Ridgewood here this afternoon, you never have to surrender possession to the other team. Barkley, who had 4 goals against Westfield last year in their meeting, takes the shot. And backed up by Westfield. Again, another hustle play for the Blue Devils. That's got to be huge for Coach Tuohy's side.
Absolutely. Minio doing a great job getting that possession. So important, because it's all been, up to this point, it's all been Ridgewood.
Dardia over now to the near side. Or now trying to hold on to it, being checked from behind by Ram, and the ball dislodged.
I don't like the decision by Minio giving it over to Ram. That was really very tough for him to handle.
Another turnover forced by Ridgewood, so they hustle back the ball on defense and get it to their offense.
9 turnovers for Westfield. Again, they were so patient and so exact with the ball in the first half. Now they're showing a little bit of more inconsistency.
Looks like that 10-man ride is starting to pay dividends in the last couple of possessions for Ridgewood. They've been loading up at midfield for Dardia a couple times, trying to launch into midfield for an outlet. First midfield still getting some run here for Ridgewood. Turnaround shot in tight and blocked away before it got to the cage. The follow-up score, though, by Ridgewood. Gavin Peen gets the loose carom and goes low to low, and Ridgewood 4 unanswered here. It's a 6-5 lead for Westfield.
Well, as you said, this is a new ball game right now. It's a one-goal game, and it's all been Ridgewood winning the faceoffs, getting the possession, and turnovers created by the Blue Devils. Left hand coming out of that little roll dodge. The rebound, that's where it gets into the stick of Peen, and he stays low. Drops the head of the stick, gives the rebound up. Watch Peen in your picture. Low, keeps it there, and puts it right past Dardia.
Just a game of bounces. Those bounces were going Westfield's way in the first half. That shot block caromed right out to Peen, who found Paydirt for the goal, and 10-3 advantage for Ridgewood at the faceoff X, trying to extend that here. Long pole being sent out Aslanian for Westfield. Doesn't help. Another faceoff won by Hogan, who's taking over this game. 5-0 with a faceoff X this quarter, but a turnover on the high pass. Ridgewood.
You know, I thought Hogan was going to go to the cage there. I thought he had a lane. I thought he had an opening to go to the cage. But be it as it may, he looked to dish it off and be unselfish, and created the turnover. And shots have been, Ridgewood, 8-0. I don't think even there's been a possession by Westfield in the second half so far in their offensive half of the field.
Westfield has not gotten it into the stick of Devin McLane at all here in the second half.
And again, the 10-man ride.
Ridgewood was calling for a time, as they were saying that it should have been more than the 10 seconds, and now there's a whistle behind. Offsides is the call. They didn't have enough players back, did Westfield, as they ventured back and did not have the players necessary to be back in their defensive end, and that's another turnover for Westfield.
Yeah, Hunziker carried it over, which is the smart thing to do, but the midfielders have to keep the onside.
Ridgewood clears down the far side, and we're coming up on just 6 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. It's been a quarter dominated here in the second half by Ridgewood.
Because of by Ridgewood, as a midfielder for Westfield, you've got to make sure you come back onside to allow the defender to take it over.
First time that they cross midfield here in the second half, and it eventually ends up in too many men. Clearing category, Ridgewood perfect, 6 for 6. Westfield 5 for 10. That's been their Achilles heel in the second half.
Tough to win 100% on your clears when you're only doing 50%.
Especially when you've been in a big disadvantage of the faceoff X. Chew with it. Up top to the second midfield. Probert just scored a couple of moments ago. Now attacking down the wing and scoring is Eamon Mulholland to tie the game up at 6-all. What a takedown, that far dodge alley. And Mulholland gets the equalizer.
Mulholland's also a pretty big guy, and he just drives that lane. Look at him. The double team hesitates to try and come across and help pick up on Mulholland, and what a nice shot. Takes it down with the bounce shot, puts it on the far pipe, and now we're going to get a timeout. But you know, you can see Ridgewood is playing so much more confidence right now. And that's what a couple of goals will do for you, Dan. They give you the confidence. They were trailing by 5. And look at the quick turnaround, and we're back to an all-even game, 6 against 6.
5 unanswered goals for Ridgewood from 6 different scores this afternoon.
Well, that's really important, and that's really a nice little asset as you see the first goal scored there. But it's been just been there. The result, good facing off by Hogan, getting the ball down, good possession, good shots. As you see, a lot of perimeter shots. They're not getting the shots in tight. See, early on, they were looking to force into the crease. Even earlier in this half, and they looked to force the crease. They weren't connecting. But they're getting shots, driving the alley, taking the perimeter shot, and they're able to beat Dardia. And, of course, also McCauley, who started the half, gave up those first 2 goals, and then they pulled them for Dardia.
I was going to say, Kerry, that it looks like the game plan has shifted, that the onus has been put on the Ridgewood midfield to take over this game, and they certainly have done that, where a lot of times they were trying to pass it around the perimeter, or like you said, force feed the crease. Now they've just been launching from outside and also down the alleys, and it's been paying dividends for them here in the third quarter.
Well, you know, their midfielders have done the job for them through most of this these first 4 games. The only guy up on the attack who's been scoring is Riggio with 8 points, 7 goals. After that, it's really been mostly midfielders. So let's get our midfielders involved in the play.
This has been the man that has been the catalyst for this comeback in the second half for Ridgewood. James Hogan, the junior, West dominance at the face-off X. Westfield has been trying to change it up with a couple of different players. Looks like it's back to Tanner Devon, number 39. But Hogan is winning it cleanly. Also, Gary, popping it forward. It's not even being tied up as it was a couple times in the first half. Now a feed inside and just missing. It was a long pole and Ram was lurking on the crease, but just misconnected on the pass and it led to a turnover.
I think Ram was shocked that he was getting the ball in the crease area with that pole and that he wasn't getting checked. The fact that he was able to turn around, see the cage, I think he was saying, whoa, where is everybody?
Big clear here for Coach Tui's team. They need that confidence just to get it back to their explosive offense. They're 0 for 3 this quarter and they're clearing opportunities. There's an in-between bounce. It caroms all the way down. Kennedy trying to fight for the ground ball, but it's picked up by Probilski. A big ground ball pickup for his side, trying to reclaim the advantage here in the third quarter.
Maybe be able to just stem some of the momentum right now that the Maroons of Ridgewood have. They have just totally taken Westfield out of the game in momentum.
So the offense now setting up shop for the first time really in this third quarter of play as we're coming up on just 4 minutes left to go in the quarter. Ridgewood trailed 6-1 at halftime. 5 unanswered goals for Ridgewood have tied this game up at 6 goals apiece. 2 of the top 10 teams in the Garden State going at it here today. Warnow at 3 points in the first half. Guarded closely by the short stick defender here on the midfield in Barkley.
Well, I think that's a little bit of a mismatch. Oh, he had the shorty on him, but Barkley is a bigger player. And so, therefore, there was a little bit of a decision by the offensive midfielder. Let's lay it off.
Here's McLane playing almost in the midfield position now, as he was top center. And now will retreat down to his normal spot near goal line extended. Trying to get him the ball in any position on the field for Coach Tui's side. Probilski is now matched up with Brooks Yates. Just as Ridgewood has been trying to attack the short stick defensive midi, now it looks like that might be the game plan for Westfield as Joe Ram, the pole, goes to Nick Bond. He scored the last Westfield goal with 5 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Stall warning on as the shot caroms wide of the net by Warnow. But a stall warning means that Westfield has to continue to keep it in the box.
I think that's a good move by Ridgewood to put that pole out on Bond at the midfield. Once you try and nullify Bond, you're forcing some of the other midfielders to attack the cage.
McLane drawing the quick double team, gets it back, takes the shot, and a save made by Ben Pounds. Reading that shot from the outside, and the perimeter shot from McLane is stopped. But Ridgewood turns it over right away as they try to get it back into the offensive end.
I think that was an easy save, too, for Pounds. McLane didn't do the job that he normally does. He put that right high on the stick side of Pounds, which made it a little bit easier of a save, despite the fact that McLane could shoot the ball a ton.
Second life now for Westfield, this new offensive possession. Warnow. He's matched up with the short stick defender. Probilski also with the short stick defensive midi on him. Riddendale. As they eventually work it up top to Warnow. Running through the pick is Barkley, and a flag will come, and it looks like it will be the first penalty of the afternoon for Ridgewood. After Probilski, the freshman, got pounded into the turf by Barkley.
That's going to be on Barkley, clear. That was a clean pick that was set by Probilski. Watch Barkley just run him over, and the flag's going to come out. And that's going to be the first man down situation for Ridgewood. They've had 2 man up going into this, and this will be the first chance for Westfield with the EMO.
1:49 left to go in the third quarter. 6-6 the score. First time that we're going to see the EMO unit or the Westfield Blue Devils. McLane setting up right now, top center, to run this man-up unit.
Probilski's brother, the All-American, graduated last year. Big shoes for the young guy here.
Here's Bonds ripping the lefty shot. And look at Pounds racing to the end line. A huge no-no for the man-up unit for Westfield. Out hustling there is the goalie for Ridgewood.
That is a no-no. How do you not have backup when you're extra man? You've got to have somebody there. There's no excuse for Pounds to be able to beat anybody to the end line. That
was a great hustle play by the senior. Just came off a big-time save against McLane in the last possession. Now Ridgewood in transition, a bounce pass. They're going to be looking to run and maybe take off a little more time as they're still playing man down.
Yep, they're going to look to possess and wear out the clock and run it until they can get there all even back on the field.
Joya feeding inside. The ball caroms out to space, but still picked up in the open space by Eugene Chu.
And we're back at all even now, Dan.
6-on-6 action. Ridgewood with a chance here to take a lead. Have never led in this game. Westfield led 6-1 at the break. It's been all Ridgewood here in the third quarter. Barkley in the midfield have taken over. He now takes that shot and scores! Unstoppable force number 12 in maroon, and Ridgewood has come all the way back to take a 7-6 lead with 26 seconds left to go here in the third.
Well, Jack Barkley uses his great side. There's a little bit of a mismatch there going against the pole of Aslanian, and Barkley sweeps to his right and takes that hard right-handed shot. See how he's got the step? No defender sliding up to give some help to Aslanian. It gives Barkley an open look at the cage and a free shot almost.
2 goals and an assist for Jack Barkley. His second goal of the day, 4th of the season. Again, he had a huge performance last year at home against Westfield. 4 goals for then the junior. He's committed to play in the Patriot League at Lehigh next season. Had an assist in the last game against Don Bosco Prep. And a face-off awarded to Westfield after the procedure call, and the first face-off win for Westfield here in the second half after Ridgewood won the first 6. Warnow attacking the cage, feeds the crease inside, and might have got checked from behind. Was Riddendale before he can uncork that shot. That's why it went a little wide.
Absolutely, they're right in the crease. The defense closed down quickly with 8 seconds left.
Here's McLane operating from X. Watched by Kennedy, drives to the cage, turnaround shot, and scores! Once again, Westfield beating the clock just like they did at the end of the second quarter. This time, McLane with 3 seconds left ties the game up at 7-all on a great individual dodge from behind.
Oh, he is so comfortable at X. Watch him drives the cage, rolls to the strong hand. No slide coming over. And there it is, a little bit late. And that gives Devin the real clean look at the goal. And watch the nice positioning, puts it down low, right off the pipe.
And that's again Kerry against one of the best individual defenders in all of New Jersey in Kennedy. That one-on-one move, McLane's hat trick, 16th goal of the season, and Westfield's their first goal of this second half. Tied at 7-all, going back to the face-off X for 3 seconds left to go in the third. This time not a face-off taken by the usual man for Ridgewood, giving Hogan a break. Ram, the long stick midi, taking the face-off, wanted, but could not uncork the shot in time. But after Ridgewood came all the way back to tie it and eventually take the lead, late in that quarter, it's McLane and company tying it up at 7-all, but we have ourselves a brand new ball game heading to the exciting fourth quarter on Verizon Fios One Sports.
Are you feeling it?
Welcome back to the start of the fourth quarter here in Westfield, New Jersey, where Westfield and Ridgewood are tied at 7-7 after Westfield led 6-1 at halftime. Coach Mike Pounds, he is happy that the adjustments have worked to perfection. This team is notorious for winning deep in the tournament in the state playoffs, 17-4 last season, having won the sectional title in Group 4, losing in the Group 4 state final to Montgomery, 16-2, 18-6 in 2015 Group 3 champs. And this is the pedigree of a champion. Well, 6-1, you're not going to be quitting, and they certainly didn't quit there in the third quarter.
Well, Ridgewood is never out of it if they play their game. And keep in mind, last year they finished number 5 in the state of New Jersey after the end of the season. So you know that they are a quality team that knows what it takes and what you have to do to come back and win a game.
Hogan won the faceoff, but got trail checked from behind and loses the ground ball. McLane and company now in transition. Over to the far side, Riddendale roofs that one just high and wide. But that's what Westfield wants to do, Kerry. They want it unsettled and in the fast break.
And they want to go to goal. And watch Rittendale. He gets a nice little dump, and he goes from low coming up to high with that little high sidearm shot.
Here's McLane already with a hat trick, takes the shot. And they're going to say that just was back up in time for Westfield.
How close that one was. Give Rittendale some credit. He reacted well to try and make sure that he was there to get some backup.
As it looks like an official might have been hit behind the play and might have collided with someone as the shot had caromed well wide of everyone.
Off the shot. Now watch, look at Rittendale. See Rittendale, I think he caught him with the pole. As he ran by him, I think he caught him. Looked like it might have even been in the face. I'm not even sure.
A bit of a side swipe, but the official, it's a lacrosse official, so he's a tough guy as well, and he's getting right up to his feet. Says it's okay to Rittendale. That's good sportsmanship there, as certainly he wasn't trying to knock down the official. Had a big smile there. As we will resume play, and everyone is okay as the training staff comes off the field.
Takes a licking, but keeps on ticking. Must be a Timex guy.
7-7 the score here between Ridgewood and Westfield. That was maybe the first shot that McLane rushed a little bit as he was trying to take a shot, did not have the angle, and was lucky that his teammate was ruled to have beaten the goalie Pounds to the end line. Warnow matched up with Barkley, driving down the right side, takes the shot, and that time it is Pounds racing to the end line to win possession for his team.
No doubt about that one. Pounds quickly out of the goal mouth and into the end line area to get the possession.
The hustle plays have gone Ridgewood's way here in the second half as we were lauding the praise on Westfield for winning the same type of possession and those ground balls in the first half. Essentially a turnover there for Westfield in that last offensive opportunity. Riggio trying to dodge and isolate from behind. To Gavin Peen. Joya, who opened up the scoring for Ridgewood here today. Normally runs the offense from behind the cage. Peen with the short stick defender, Freer on him. Ridgewood did take a lead late in the third quarter at 7-6. McLane scored with only 3 seconds remaining in the third to deadlock us currently at 7-all. Quick switch. Hunsaker coming out to play Barkley. Here's the shot. Wide of the cage. Dardia tried to race to win possession himself, but Riggio was there in time.
Yates gets that shot off quickly. His defender looks to double in on Peen and left Yates open.
There's a nice save there made by Theo Dardia. Hugging on that near pipe.
And a nice clear, too, by Dardia.
McLane scooping up the ground ball. Feeding inside. Rittendale stoned by Pounds. A big save by Pounds. Then there's a whistle stepping in the crease. It's going to be ball awarded back to Westfield.
Well, Pounds does a great job. He just stones the offensive player, and that was Rittendale who got stoned by Pounds. He went high to high. I think he had to give a little bit of a stick fake.
Another save by Pounds on the quick restart. Robbing this time is Warnow. He gets hit in the cage from behind, and a flag is thrown afterwards as things are starting to get testy between both sides.
Well, they're heating up now as we go in from a tie game at 7 apiece. A little slash call.
A couple of huge saves made by the senior goalie, Ben Pounds of Ridgewood. Stopped Rittendale and then robbed Jacob Warnow in tight.
Here's a nice save.
Give me one, Paul.
Now,
the ball was loose and Pounds had it in the crease and then was contacted. And then a couple of slashes going back and forth between McLane and also between James Yates.
And you saw Pounds look at the official like, what happened to the hit on me? Now this
McLane will take the penalty for Westfield, and it'll be a opportunity here for Ridgewood.
This is a big EMO, an extra man opportunity for the Maroons. Right now they're 1 for 2 on the extra man. Now if they can put something up on the board off this one, that'll give them a lot of momentum and take away whatever Westfield was able to get back right at the end of the third.
And credit a pair of huge saves for Pounds here in the fourth quarter, keeping this a tied game. Man-up opportunity for Ridgewood. Feed up top to Barkley, takes the shot and just wide of the cage. Dardia made a big save last time down on defense for Westfield.
Barkley was the guy who scored their first EMO goal from up top. Same play, got it behind, skip pass up top, and let Barkley shoot it.
He takes another shot and then rings off the pipe. Takes a huge bounce all the way back into the Westfield offensive end near midfield.
Now there was an offside there that the official didn't call.
Ref says play on, as it looked like maybe one of the attackmen did step over the midfield stripe.
Yep, I agree.
Possession does go back to Ridgewood regardless. Big time stop there by Brooks Yates for keeping that from going out of bounds on an errant pass. Barkley. Back to Peen and over to Barkley again, top center. He's had a couple of opportunities, including one that whistled off the pipe. All even as Westfield sends on their returning defensive player, as Colin Freer will match up.
Westfield bit the bullet on that one. They gave two good looks to Barkley, and he was not able to finish.
Just inches shy of reclaiming the lead for his team. He has it now and will get it over to Joya. Joya playing out almost in the midfield position. Give and go for Barkley, but the pass behind him. Riggio has been held in check by this Westfield defense today. Coming into today's game, the leading scorer for this Ridgewood side. Barkley will get a rest and he'll come off the field as Chu comes in his stead. 7-7 the score here in the fourth quarter. Bounce pass. Calvetti still recovers the ball.
Not an intentional bounce pass, but it was a bounce pass.
Chu attacking down the right side. Pass behind Joya, a turnover, unforced error for Ridgewood.
Yeah, that's a mistake. You don't want that kind of a turnover. You had a nice possession, and now you throw the ball away.
Coach Mike Pounds trying to set up his riding unit that has definitely befuddled Westfield here in the second half. Prabilski back to his goalie. Dardia with the long pass finds the open man, Minio, to the far side of the field. That was an effective clear carry.
Good clear. They redirected the ball very well. They worked through Dardia, who was able to clear on the weak side.
Under 7 minutes left to go in regulation. Tie ball game between Westfield and Ridgewood. Trying to execute that dodge, but the turf monster coming out to take down Warnow. Turnover the other way, now taken by Ridgewood in transition if they have it. Riggio over to the near side after that 11th turnover forced by Ridgewood. As Westfield coughing it up a lot here in the second half. Wind starting to swirl around here in Westfield, New Jersey. Dan Long, Kerry Gluck, glad that you could join us for what's become a great lacrosse game between these two state powers in North Group 4.
Well, this is what we expected, Dan. We expected this kind of a game between these two powerhouses. Two teams ranked in the top 10. You expect it to be a close one.
Now Riggio matched up by Minio behind the cage. Rolls to the far side. Trying to get top side. Crossfield pass to Ram, the long stick midi, who's still playing on offense. He'll finally check off, and they'll get another midi to come on. Through the midfield, it's Brooks Yates. Brooks Yates and his brother James Yates, who's a close defender on the other side of the field, both bound for Trinity. They'll both go and play lacrosse at Trinity College. Quick double comes, lifting the stick of Probert, deflected before he got to Dardia. Great trail check by Probert in front of his bench. The ball is still kept in play by a diving Westfield player, but ground ball secured by Ridgewood.
Good hustle by the Ridgewood ride to be able to create that turnover. You know, those are the little things that go unnoticed, Dan. The hustle off of a ride, keeping balls in play, coming up with the ground balls. You know, that's what really, doing those little things is what helps you win games, especially the tight ones.
And it's just amazing, Kerry, to see the difference in styles from the first and the second half, especially for Ridgewood. They just have seems like an extra speed to their steps here in the second half. They're getting those hustle plays that they weren't getting in the first half of play. Those early goals build confidence.
Absolutely, and I think that's the difference.
Here's another goal in front and a score. Eamon Mulholland has given Ridgewood the lead again at 8-7 on the feed inside.
Eamon does a nice job. Here's the ball going behind the cage, and there's a nice feed by Joya as you see the cut coming from Mulholland right down the middle, right down Main Street. Look at it in your picture, and you see where Eamon Mulholland takes that shot. That was a great feed. The feed was on the stick, right on the money, makes it an easier shot for Eamon to be able to finish that shot, get his 4th goal of the season, and his 2nd of the day.
Big finish there off a nice assist from Dan Joya. And it wasn't even a bullet pass carry that had to fit through a small window. That was more maybe a case of Westfield falling asleep in the interior. Big face-off as Hogan falls down. Goes into the box. And now the ground ball picked up by Kennedy, who's swarmed from behind. Turnover forced. And a whistle. Is it a timeout awarded behind the play? And it is to Coach Mike Pounds. So just as Coach Toohey had a fortuitous timeout of the first half, Mike Pounds getting the timeout when he needs the most.
This was an excellent timeout called for by Coach Pounds. He saw the trouble that Kennedy was in. He was being swarmed by 3 white shirts around him, and keeping the possession now is so important. 4:20 to go in this game, and it's a 1-goal game.
Ridgewood, part of the outstanding Gibbs division. We take a look at the standings. Northern Highlands and Don Bosco still perfect in early conference play. Ridgewood 1-1 after losing their last time out to Don Bosco. Mountain Lakes, Ramapo, teams that have gone the distance in winning state championships. Bergen Catholic a couple years ago winning a title. And Glenridge and Montclair still looking along with Bergen for their first divisional win of the year. But these two teams are in 2 of the toughest divisions of New Jersey high school lacrosse, and it's paying dividends here today. You're facing teams in and out of conference who are the best of the best, and that only strengthens you in these type of games and also later on with long runs in May.
And there you hit the key right there. Later on down the road a piece, that's when these kind of games are really going to come back and help you as a team. Knowing that you've gone up against the best earlier on and you played well, that really helps your confidence when you take on the good teams in the tournaments.
And there's a confident goalie in Ben Pounds, who has only allowed 1 goal here in the second half of play, has made some incredible saves in tight on the crease, and has also raced to the end line for a couple of big plays. Look at the ground ball battle dominated by Ridgewood.
And that's been the difference. These are the little things I was talking about, Dan, that really win games, especially the close ones. They've 29-12. Westfield's got to do better than that on the ground balls.
9-1 advantage since the half in terms of ground balls won by Ridgewood.
Now, of course, most of that has come off the face-off X, so you got to give credit to Hogan in getting most of those ground balls. But still, you've got to think that Westfield's got to do a better job.
Ridgewood has never led by more than 1 goal in this game, trying to extend that lead here with under 4 minutes left to go in the 4th quarter. They've scored 7 out of the last 8 goals in the game. Have the Ridgewood Maroons, the champions of Bergen County, going against Westfield, the champions of Union County. Joya behind the cage to Riggio. If you're Ridgewood, Carey, what are you looking to do here? Well, we don't have to worry about that right now.
That's not what you want to do.
Interception the other way. McLane, though, with a quick shot of the point position. Ben Pounds reading that all the way.
Pounds had the vision on that shot all the way. I think McLane was a little impatient.
Dardio with a big kick save on his end. Now Minio trying to race free.
Minio's got to get it to a shorty.
Back to Riddendale. Possession back on offense for Westfield after that quick shot by McLane. But Dardia bails him out on the other end. The junior goalie with a huge save. Offensive possession with coming up on 2.5 minutes left to go here in the 4th for Westfield, who have only scored once here in the second half.
It's been a game of 2 halves. It was all Westfield in the first half. It's been all Ridgewood in the second half.
Now McLean operating behind the cage. He's going to be watched by Aiden Toomey. Pass up top to Warnow. Takes the shot and scores. Just beats Pounds on the low shot. And we are tied at 8-8 with 2:10 left to go in the 4th.
And I'll tell you, it was McLane's look. What a look. What an assist. As you see him look to drive the cage, head up, and he finds Warnow on the weak side high, and he gets it to him. The pass had to be a perfect pass. He had to make it a little bit of a lob, but he couldn't get it up too high because he had to get it there before the defender was able to slide across and get the stick on Warnow.
It's just that field vision, that IQ that Coach Tui was raving about McLane, and Warnow is putting together another huge performance, 10th goal this season. But here's the big play, Carey. Face-off X. It's been dominated by Hogan of Ridgewood. Can Westfield win possession here as we're coming up on 2 minutes left? An illegal procedure, the call, flinching a little too early was Westfield. And that's what Hogan does to you. Possession for Ridgewood.
You saw Devin just flinch just that half a second.
16-4 advantage for Ridgewood. And this game is tied at 8-8 with under 2 minutes left to go in regulation. Normally, if you're losing 16-4 in faceoffs, you're not going to be tied in a game. And Westfield looking for the defensive stop here. McElroy playing his man behind the cage.
You know, that's a good point. If you're losing that much in the faceoffs and you're losing ground balls 29-12, how do you get yourself tied?
Dardia making a save to the far side as the ball goes past him. But it will be backed up by Ridgewood.
That's really a credit to the offense of Westfield that they are so efficient on their offensive possessions.
Chu dodging from up top. Aslanian slid to him. Now Riggio looking for his first goal of the day. Question mark dodge, takes the shot, bouncer, and getting a piece of it is Dardia. Might have also caromed off the pipe a little bit, and a timeout taken by Ridgewood. Their second and final timeout of this second half. Dardia is ecstatic getting the high five from his defense.
And he's pumped. Inside roll here by Riggio. Takes the bounce shot, and look at the defender right in front of him, Hunzinger. I'm not sure if it hit off the foot of Hunzinger or if it was the save by Dardia, but be it as it may, it was a shot that did not go in for Ridgewood, and you see how pumped Dardia was right after that.
A couple of big opportunities here for Ridgewood in the waning moments of this fourth quarter, but we're still tied at 8-8. Dardia 3 saves here in the fourth quarter since coming into the game in the beginning portion of the third quarter. The fans have been treated to some great lacrosse here in Westfield, New Jersey, between Ridgewood and Westfield. These two teams that could very well match up later on in the season in the Group 4 North sectional playoffs. Dan Long, Carey Gluck, happy that you could join us for this instant classic on Verizon Fios One Sports. And Carey, now with his timeout, Coach Pounds, what are you looking for? Are you going to be trying to bleed most of this time away, or you attack at the first great opportunity you have?
If you have a good look, I say go right for the cage. But certainly, if I'm Coach Pounds, I'm looking for a way to get the ball in Barkley's stick. I think he's the guy who's big enough and he can put the ball in the back of the net, and he's the guy who you really want to put your weight on for the kid going to Lehigh.
He's now standing on the crease, but he's going to be guarded by Griffin Aslanian, junior long stick midi. Ridgewood worked it behind the cage. The wind starting to whip up here later on in this game. A dodge on the short stick defender up top by Brooks Yates. Good positional defense there for Westfield. And Jacob Warnow. Warnow scored the last goal for the Blue Devils as we're ticking under 30 seconds left to go in regulation. Barkley takes the shot on the run, saved by Dardia. Quickly, the outlet pass goes to open space on the far side. And it's going to be violation against Ridgewood going over and back. It's going to be possession for Westfield, and Coach Patrick Tui quickly signaling for a timeout. You'll want to talk things over with only 18 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. But, Gary, we've seen Westfield at the end of the second and end of the third coming up with some magic goals of their own.
Well, they do have the magic, but there's Barkley. There's the guy who I thought might take it. What a nice save. Good save. Probably the biggest save this young man has had so far this year, unquestionably. And there you're going to see the little step over that will give the ball over to Westfield. And there you look, Coach Tui instructing. And that's a good coach. He's instructing what to do, how to do it. Even at this juncture of the game, he's emphasizing the defensive end of the field.
He was a former captain for the football and lacrosse programs here at Westfield High School, class of 2000 graduate, former United States Marine. We Thank him and all servicemen and women for his service over the years, and he has been serving this program well. 6th season, 66 wins already for Coach Toohey, the 2014 Group 4 Coach of the Year when they won the state title. As he gives a confident smile there as his team has possession. We'll see what they've drawn up here with 18 seconds left. If you're Westfield, Carrie, who do you want having the ball? Do you want to go with McLane? Do you want to have Warnow or Bond taking it from up top?
Well, I got to think that you're going to pull up on Bond. So therefore, I'm going to look to see to get it into Warnow's stick. He's probably going to draw the shorty.
No timeouts remaining for either side as they've used their allotted 2 in the second half. Ball will start at midfield with Nick Bond, the future Princeton Tiger. He scored in the waning moments of the second quarter. Watched by Ram. Alley dodge to the left. Feeds to McLane. Quick hitter, but missing wide of the cage to the far side, still with 8 seconds left at Westfield's disposal.
Well, now you're going to get it in the stick of McLane. He's going to keep it and look to see if he can dodge. And I would suspect that you're going to have a clear out by the Ridgefield offense.
He's going to be watched by Toomey behind the cage, curling around to the near side, fended away. 3 seconds, takes the shot, Pounds with the save. Oh, what a great frantic couple of seconds there. But Ridgewood senior goalie Ben Pounds stands tall, and we're headed to overtime. As Devin McLane found a way, Carey, to get this one off just before the buzzer.
And watch the little inside roll move. Comes here with the left hand and draws the shot. And what a save by Pounds. And McLane took a pounding on that one, too.
Great work by the goalies at the final moments of this fourth quarter as we'll head to overtime between Ridgewood and Westfield here on Verizon Fios Sports.
You've heard people.
Modular home.
Welcome back to Westfield for the start of the first overtime between Ridgewood and Westfield as both teams are tied at 8 goals apiece. As we head to overtime, 4-minute period, sudden victory, and only 1 timeout per team in this extra stanza. And Gary, Ridgewood, no strangers to overtime. They won an overtime game in their second game of the season, 11-10 on the road at Hunterdon Central. And you have that luxury of number 20, James Hogan, waiting for the faceoff. Won 16 of 20 faceoffs here today. Dardia with 4 saves in the fourth quarter. Pounds with 4 saves of his own, including that last one to deny McLane in the fourth.
And Westfield going with the pole, Eslanian at the face-off X to try and nullify what Hogan has been doing all day.
2 short sticks on the wings then for Westfield. Hogan wins the faceoff. And there's the quick timeout taken by Ridgewood's head coach, Mike Pounds, after Hogan wins another faceoff on the day. And will give possession to Ridgewood for the first time here in OT.
Boy, this young man, Hogan, has earned his keep at the face-off X today. There's a little bit of a clamp, and then he looks to draw it to the weak side.
And you know you have to be good as a Fogo if you're getting already an offer to go play in the Big Ten as a junior. And that's what James Hogan has. He is going to Ohio State. The face-offs, 17 wins on the day for only 4 defeats for Ridgewood, constantly giving his team added possessions, and now they get the first opportunity on offense here for both sides in the overtime period.
Well, anytime you have a kid like Hogan who's doing the facing off, you give your team a chance to win. And that's all that his responsibility is. Give the team a chance. Now it's out of his hands. Now you're going to put it in the hands of the guys like Barkley. You're going to put it in the guys like Joya. You're going to see what those guys can do. But you did your job today. You earned your money.
Possession will start for Ridgewood as Dardia getting set. He'll start this overtime. He began his play in the third quarter after Jack McCauley was staunch in the first half and began the second half before Dardia replaced him. 8-8 the score. Ridgewood trailed at halftime 6-1. They led on a couple occasions in the third and fourth quarter. Westfield scoring the last goal in the game and eventually getting us here to overtime. Both teams 2-1 on the season. Ridgewood coming off a loss. Westfield having won 2 in a row after losing in the opener of the season against number 1 Del Barden. Treated to an absolute gem of a game here in New Jersey. Peen with the dodge from up top. He has the short stick defender, takes the shot and scores! Gavin time, and Ridgewood secures a huge win on the road here in Westfield.
Bean getting goal number 6.
Free gift, the amazing Under Appliance Wand.